everyone, Bill Martin from United FC Furman. Just wanted to touch base real quick as we come into the tryout season here. Obviously, this is a really unique time for our organization. We normally get a chance to, at the beginning of tryouts, to sit under the shelter and talk about what's going on at tryouts and what's involved with being part of our program and our philosophy around the particular age groups that we're dealing with. And obviously this year we can't do that. So we're going to use a series of videos that we're going to send to you in advance or during tryouts, so you kind of have a good sense of what's going on, what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we proceed with these age groups, what you're getting into financially, all that kind of stuff. And so I hope this information is valuable to you. You're going to see everything set up in kind of 3 different sections. The first one is going to be, first of all, COVID-19, what we're doing to make sure that we have the safest tryout that we possibly can. Obviously, there is risk with interacting socially with each other right now. We want to make sure that we do everything that we can to reduce those risks. So we'll talk about that first. Second, we'll talk about the particular age group and what we're doing in those age groups. Our philosophy is a little different as kids progress and grow and age in our program. We'll talk about those different age group philosophies, and then we'll talk about the finances that are involved with the particular age groups that you're getting involved with. So I hope that information is valuable to you, and we certainly will make sure we put a big effort into getting all the information out to you guys that we possibly can. If you have any questions, you could certainly reach out to me. I'm going to make sure that my email and phone number is listed in the description of the video, and any of the program directors also could help you. So hope this is valuable to you, and be a little bit of time, but I think it'll be worth it to you. So thanks very much. Okay, so let's talk about COVID-19. COVID-19 started affecting our organization on March the 15th when we ceased to function as an organization. This coming Friday, June the 19th, will be the first day that we've actually been able to be back on the soccer fields. So it's had a huge impact on our organization. It's had a huge impact on your families, our community, our nation, our entire world. It literally is an 800-pound gorilla that's in our room and absolutely has to be dealt with. So we're going to go through real quick kind of how we're planning to deal with COVID-19. So first of all, I'm not going to go through in a video and try to explain every little detail of what we're doing. I will tell you that we have agonized over how to handle our players as they come back in. There are perspectives around COVID-19 that range from incredibly conservative to incredibly aggressive. Very, very concerned, this is the most important health issue that we have in our lifetimes, to this is a conspiracy theory. And everybody falls kind of in that spectrum, obviously somewhere between those incredible extremes. We have decided a couple things. First of all, we've had federation feedback. So from the United States Soccer Federation, we've had recommendations from them. We have recommendations from our state association. And then we've taken all of those and even compiled some of our own recommendations. I will tell you, first of all, safety is our top priority. We are not going to take any chances with your children. I may do what I think is right for me and my family, but when we're dealing with other people's children, we will make every decision based on the safest possible scenario. So safety is our top concern for sure. We've adopted a better safe than sorry approach, which doesn't really do it justice. You're going to see a lot of things on the soccer field, and you can, in the description of the video here as well, you can get a link to the South Carolina Youth Soccer recommendations for returning to play, and you can get our recommendations for returning to play. Please look at those, print those, bring those to the fields. If you see anything that's not getting handled correctly, please bring those to my attention. We want to make sure that we get this right when it comes to safety around COVID-19. A few of the things that you would see potentially on the field that are going to be different. One of them is we've delayed starting. We were allowed to start as early as June the 13th, but we've decided to wait until June the 19th just to give our organization, our community, more time to deal with the virus in general. We didn't want to be the first ones to jump out of the gate because we just felt like we didn't need to. You know, we could take a slower approach and still be able to get this right. So I hope that you saw our delay as being an attempt to be safer. You're going to see everyone wearing PPE, so personal protective equipment. Masks and gloves are going to be worn by all the staff, all the volunteers, all the coaches, all the time. And so if you see somebody not taking those precautions, please let us know. But we've made a huge effort to make sure everybody is taking care of that. The amount of time that we're on the soccer field is going to be reduced. So each session should not exceed an hour at the most of actual playing time. We may get on the field, we may talk, we may organize, but from a start to finish, physical exertion time, we think about an hour is about the extent of what we want to see the kids doing. That's, again, recommendations that are coming to us. And then enormous efforts into social distancing. So just a very few number of kids on the field at one time, field separated. We can't play big soccer. 5v5 is the biggest that you're going to see out there. And so keeping our lines spread out, keeping the kids spread out, not having a lot of kids on the soccer field at one time. We don't have 2, 3, 4 age groups coming at the same time where there are hundreds of kids in this park. The numbers should look small and should be small. So those are just a few of the things that you're going to see. And again, I'm not going to list every little item that we've gone through, but those would be the conspicuous things that you would see. State recommendations, our recommendations, all going to be listed in the description on the video here as well. So we hope that you can take a minute and look through those. We have put a lot of time and effort into it. We want to make sure that we get it right. And at the end of the day, safety is our top priority as we come through this very challenging time. Okay, so let's talk about this particular age group. So this group is the 06 boys and the 06 girls, and these are super exciting age groups for us. They are their third year of playing 11v11 soccer. They're really starting to kind of get a good grasp of how to play the bigger game. With the 06s, about half of them will play in high school in the spring, and the other half will not play in high school. So a lot of these kids are going to get a chance to taste their first varsity level, junior varsity level, high school rosters around as well. So it's a really, really exciting year, At 13 and 14, our philosophy is essentially just an extension of our academy. You know, it's a little more open-ended, there's a little more mixing. Small group development is a big part of what we're doing at those ages, but 13 and 14 would feel a lot like our academy, just a bigger version of it. Now at 15, in the 06s, it definitely starts to have a little bit of a different feel. The players typically have sort of figured out their spots. Puberty with a lot of players has come and gone, and so their physical development has slowed down a little bit. And now we're working on really starting to form 11v11 teams. A couple ideas for you to think about. From a training standpoint, we do a lot of small group training at 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. So a lot of 3v3s, 4v4, 7v7s, 9v9. So much bigger kind of training sessions. You know, when they were younger, it was a lot of 1v0 and 1v1. And now it's starting to become a lot more 4v4, 7v7, 9v9. So they're playing a bigger brand of soccer, and so we're training in much larger groups. So you should see that to become a lot of what they're doing. There's an important concept in here that they're training to be competitive. So when they're younger, we just go play. We don't care about the winning and the losing. We just want to see them get better individually. And now that they're starting to be a little bit older, as we train these teams, we're training them to be competitive. We want to see the roster be better every time they go out there. And you have individuals that are part of small groups, that are part of a team, and we're trying to put those pieces together so every time they play, every Saturday, they're a little more competitive and a little more competitive. We do see the winning and the losing, and we do want to see them be as competitive as possible. Not a win-at-all-costs mentality at the ages, but definitely training to be competitive. This is a tricky balance. You know, we're looking for player development in a result-oriented environment. We want to see your player get better, and these teams clearly play to win. The leagues have promotion and relegation and acceptances to tournaments, and competitiveness is a big part of what we do. It is not winning is not the end of it, but these are age groups that are training to be competitive and playing to be competitive, and that's an exciting part of our game, age appropriate for these ages for sure. A couple things to keep in mind. Obviously, one of them is with these kids going to high school this year, it's a 5-month program. So these teams get started in August, and then they resolve with their state cup, which is typically going to be in December. So these teams do resolve at the end of the spring season, and then they go play high school for the spring. So there is no spring programming typically for the 06s. At this age group. They would play with their high schools or they would continue to play with their middle schools. We have given some thought to offering spring programming, but I think this year with the COVID-19 possibilities in the spring, I think it'd be very unlikely that we would do that. So half the team would probably play in high school, the other half of the team would play play with their middle schools, so we wouldn't have any spring programming for those players. They do start to taste what it feels like to prepare for recruitment. So as 06s, they would be part of our college recruiting seminars. They'd be applying to showcase events. They'll be building player profiles. They would participate in our college showcase identification event that we do up in North Carolina. So they do now start to build a recruitable profile. A lot of the things that they do start to bring them forward for when they are juniors and seniors and really in the teeth of a recruiting part of their career. We start learning a lot about that. We start participating in those tournaments. We start putting those pieces together so that when they are recruitable as juniors, as a freshman and as a sophomore, they're familiar with that. So you do start to taste some of those parts of the process, and that's an exciting part for these kids as well. As an 06, they're not going to be recruited. They shouldn't be worrying about recruiting, but they should start to learn about it. They should start to be in those environments so that when it does become important, that they are ready to do that. So those are exciting parts of being part of the older group here, so from the 15s to 19s. So super exciting age group. We're very excited about the 06s in general. So if you have any other philosophy questions, please feel free to reach out to Cesar as your program director, or you can grab myself as well. Okay, so let's talk about the finances for the 06s. Now the 06s, like we talked about earlier, are part of a 5-month program. So this is no longer a 9-month program. So this is going to start in August and go through State Cup, which is typically late November or December. You should have a player contract that's been linked into the description of the program. Please make sure you get a chance to look at that or print that. I'm going to walk through this real quickly, but almost everything you need to know financially is going to come from that player contract. The first part is going to kind of give you some introductory information and just kind of walk you through the basics of the season. The top, you've got player expectations and parent expectations. So do take a minute with your player and kind of look through player expectations, commitment, attendance, communication, the gear, that kind of stuff. So make sure they understand what they need to have from a player expectation standpoint. And then parent expectations, communication, be encouraging, no coaching. Please be respectful of the players and coaches. And I'm not going to read through all of that stuff. We don't usually have a lot of trouble with those kinds of things, but do take a minute and kind of look through parent expectations as well, so you're prepared to kind of play your role there as well. Now, financially, the second page gives you most of the financial information. Now, we work very hard to make sure that people understand what's involved financially with being part of our select program. So we have built a financial timeline that has dates, dollar amounts, and then based on levels of play, so you know exactly what's due, when it's due, those kinds of things. So first of all, the date, the program fees, and then it's also broken up to elite and second level rosters so that you understand what does it cost to be on the elite team, what does it cost to be on the black roster. So everything is a little compressed this year. We typically do tryouts in May. First payments come due in June, and then July. Everything is kind of on a normal time frame. This is all going to be compressed a little bit because of the late start time. So first of all, we're doing tryouts here in June. We'll post rosters. You accept your position within 3 days and go ahead and make a program deposit at that point. So those deposits would come due in June. You'll get an email, you'll get phone calls from the coaches kind of outlining all of those items for you there. In July 15th would be your team fees would come due. The team fees are essentially tournaments and travel for the coach. So we would take the tournaments at this age group or this level scheduled to go to, divided by the number of kids that are in the roster, and that's how we develop your team fee basically. So that's going to come due in July. It is different based on team to team, and it's different based on levels of play. So if you're doing high-end showcase events as opposed to local tournaments, that can adjust. We are about 90% done with what teams are going to be going where. So we should be able to get that number to you early July, so you can be prepared to pay for that in the middle of July. The second one is now your first program payment does come due at the middle of July as well. So be prepared for that. So you do have a team fee, then your first program fee comes due in July. Your program fees run July, August, September, October, and November. The only other cost that's in there is the uniform kit. The uniform kit needs to be purchased by August the 1st. You'll get an email from us saying, hey, the uniforms are ready to go buy and get. So you'll be prepared to have those. The uniform kit, we did sign a new contract with Under Armour. It's a new 2-year contract with those guys, and we are excited about it. The men's kit is an improved kit. and it is 2 jerseys, shorts, socks, and 2 training jerseys. Some teams will get a 3rd kit as well, so just be prepared for communication with your team if you guys decide to do that. It's a little bit extra. Some teams will do it, some teams may not do it. There's a women's specific cut that we've got there as well, and the women are wearing different colors this year, so we're really excited about that. Under Armour and First Team Sports have been super helpful with us getting into a really good kit that looks good, but also keeping the prices low. The uniform kit this year, and that's a 2-year kit, is $140 for that uniform kit. So we're excited about seeing the kids out there in that. So from a 06 standpoint, that's how your finances should line up. What you owe, when it comes due, should run pretty smoothly for you guys. Down at the bottom, you got additional opportunities listed. So first of all, we typically do team camps over at Furman University. We're not doing those this year. Those have all been canceled. I do know that Copa Indoor is running leagues in some capacity, so you can reach out to those guys and talk to them about it. And then our partners over at Knights Performance are always great if you want to get over there and do some performance training. They've been great partners for us, and they do a really good job with our players as well. So those are some summertime opportunities there. So if you have any financial questions, again, you can reach out to your program director, or you could reach me, and we'll make sure to get any questions answered that you may have.